Let's get it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the new episode of Devin the Bear. Last week we talked about some recent fights and then upcoming fights. This week we have a special guest. We're going to have Oliver Jimenez, Muay Thai fighter, who's now making his name as an amateur MMA fighter over at Heritage Muay Thai and Metro Fight Club. What's up, Oliver?
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me today.
Thank you. So what's going on? How you been? How's life? What you got going for you?
Life's good. Just working. Finally have a date and an opponent for October. So
which one is it? It's which October?
October 2nd.
Second?
Yeah,
Okay,
October
2nd. Nice. That's Fury 49?
No, I think it's like the Fury Amateur Series.
Oh, yeah, it's the Amateur Series.
Okay, something. Okay. Yeah.
Is it, if it's going to be on Fight Pass?
No, that was not going to be a Fight Pass. I think, but it'll be free on Facebook probably.
There you go. The last one was on Fight Pass, right?
No.
No? Oh, I don't know why I'm thinking it was.
No. The amateur ones, I think they just do them on Facebook Live.
Okay, well, I know David Wynn, a guest that we had recently, he fought the same night last time, and he may have a fight lined up for October. I think he got injured, though. I think he had to pull out.
Yeah.
But I'd have to double check that. Sorry, David, if I'm saying something wrong here. But I know he did have a fight lined up for October 2nd.
Yeah, I think I saw his post.
Yeah. He got injured? Is that what it was?
I think so. I think he had to pull out.
That sucks.
Man, he's strong.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy.
I hate grappling with him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How's it go? I know his big thing is jiu-jitsu. He loves jiu-jitsu.
He's strong. Like we do this thing when we spar. It's like we do 6-minute rounds, but the first half one person starts on the back, the other person on top.
Yeah.
But I always try to start standing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just let him up. I'm not going down there.
What is does he have like a certain submission that you always see him going for?
Not really. He's just good at keeping me down and like that strength, and then he'll just go into a ground and pound.
And in his fight, his debut, that was one of the things right before they stood up, right before he threw the right hand, knocked him out. He had the rear naked and he lost it, and the guy got on him and he immediately clinched him up. I was like, well, that was fast. And then he let the guy up, and as he was getting up, he was kind of moving his head, and then he stood up and then just dropped him. And I was like, that was very chaotic, but it was you can watch him doing it, and it's very thought out, or instinctual rather.
Yeah, it's just constant drilling.
Yeah.
One of those things, as soon as you get up, you got to get ready for either they're going to try to punch you or you can get a hit on them. Well, and he hits hard too. So
yeah, we saw that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, the debuts, your debut for MMA was pretty freaking solid as well. As far as Muay Thai gym, I feel like Heritage should be pretty happy with you because your Muay Thai was spot on in that fight.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, man, I'm gonna come do some Muay Thai in the MMA, and I said it all week. I was like, I'm gonna do showcase Muay Thai.
It was like I said, I feel like that was picture perfect for as far as a Muay Thai performance or being a Muay Thai fighter coming over to MMA. That's exactly how you'd want it to go. That's exactly how you'd want it to look. It was good. You threw what? Oh, go ahead, Devin.
Sorry. So how did you deciding to go into amateur MMA come about? Because I know you have a big background in Muay Thai.
Well, what was it? So I guess COVID started. Yeah, COVID started, and so before COVID started, actually, let me rewind that. I had actually signed for Glory Kickboxing. So that summer I was gonna make my pro debut, and then COVID happened, and then obviously everything closed down, everything shut down, and so there was no Muay Thai fights, nothing. And so my coach Cordy was like, "You should just do MMA." I was like, "I don't really like MMA, not." But I was like, "But can I cuss on this or no?"
Yeah, no, you're good.
I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. I just want to stay active. So yeah, he decided for me to do MMA just to stay active and until Muay Thai fights came up. So
Yeah. I mean, Corley's a smart guy.
yeah,
He knows his business.
he knows his stuff.
With the way that you won your fight, it was TKO, knees to the body.
Yeah.
You feel like they were there? Because I feel like you landed a lot of knees to the body that whole fight. Do you feel like they were there pretty often?
Yeah, just because of the way as soon as I grabbed the clinch, he didn't bring his hips forward. Like in Muay Thai, I mean, as soon as somebody grabs your head, you know to bring your hips in close, because that way they can't knee.
Okay.
But he didn't do that. He kind of hollowed out a little bit, and so I was like, the body's open for sure.
Yeah, I think the one right before you dropped him with the knee to the body, right before the finish, I think he clinched up with you.
I think so.
And I remember watching that, and I was like, "Oh, you messed up now! Like, why would you do that?" But I think he was getting ready to throw something, but you kind of closed the distance, and he wasn't ready for it, or he did throw something, and maybe missed, but he ended up clinching up with you, and I was just like, that's not smart.
Yeah, and I felt strong. I felt strong in the clinch that.
Yeah.
So if he's giving it to me, I mean, I'll take it.
Do you feel like when the first couple times y'all clinched up, because y'all clinched up pretty often in that fight, do you feel like you immediately felt the advantage when y'all were clinched up? Or just throughout the whole fight, striking?
Yeah, throughout the whole fight for sure. Like I know when I went back and I watched the fight and I heard the commentary. They were saying I didn't go for like the usual wrestling positions.
Yeah.
I would just go straight into what I know, which is like the clinch, which is my like my forearm on their
collar.
Yeah, on their collar. That way they can't come forward. And then as far as like everything he was throwing, I could see it like in slow motion.
Do you feel you watch MMA to a degree at least?
Yeah.
So do you feel like there's a lack of Muay Thai in major MMA organizations right now?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, especially like the clinch work,
Yeah.
clinch work.
I feel like you don't see the plum. I feel like you don't see people go for the plum ever anymore.
Yeah, no.
And it's like back in the day, Anderson Silva would get it and put people away. Amir Sadallah would get people in it and put them away. It's like you don't see people go for it anymore. And you don't really see a lot of trips, like Muay Thai style trips from the clinch in MMA. You looking to bring that?
That's the goal. It is a little harder to try and do the trips though, and just because they have a wider stance.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make it happen.
Do it, because I feel like MMA fans don't see that. So I feel like when an MMA fan watches a Muay Thai fight and they see someone get a trip, it looks so powerful and so like you send them flying when you do it.
Yeah.
So when they see it, they're like, oh, holy crap. But really, like you were saying, they just don't have as wide of a stance, so they don't have as big of a base, so they're not holding themselves up as well.
Yeah.
When you get that in a Muay Thai fight, there's points.
For like the sweeps.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Not really.
It's more, I guess you would, but it's not because of the sweep. It's because you show dominance.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The judging in Muay Thai is a little different.
Yeah. Jeremy was telling us a bit about that when we had him on.
Yeah.
He was saying like just the judging. What he was talking about was overseas judging versus U.S. judging.
Oh yeah.
He says like it's just completely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think you'll have issues with that in MMA?
Not me, because it's like I would probably have more trouble over there. Because over there, like I was telling you earlier, I like to punch more.
Yeah.
and that scores a lot more here than a leg kick. So over there, it's the opposite. It's like a big body kick. Like let's say I throw one big body kick, and my opponent throws like a 1, 2, 3. I still outscored him on the body kick.
Yeah.
To where,
Overseas.
yeah, to where here it's like more output. I won that exchange.
Yeah.
So it differs, but I think for me, I like the judging more for this.
Yeah. How, I don't know what kind of question this could be perceived as, but how far are you trying to go with an MMA career?
As far as I can take it.
Are you just trying to do it until you can get some Muay Thai fights going, or do you think you'll kind of stick with it a little bit?
No, I think I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay.
Especially right now that if I have a Muay Thai fight, I can do that, and then I can come back and do an MMA fight, and then just stay active. Stay as active as I can. And then once I go pro, then it'd be the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I can take it, if I can take it far in MMA, then
Is with MMA is like UFC or Bellator like the goal?
yeah.
Yeah. So say there was a looking for a fight. Actually, there is a looking for a fight.
Yeah, my teammate, he got signed when Dana White came.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leomana.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's making his debut this weekend.
Yeah. Say there was one coming up and looking for a fight. Dana White's going to be there. And you have a good performance, you win, and he approaches you with sign.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. Get the big bucks.
Yes.
Well, kind of.
So start off with the little bucks and then go to the big bucks. Yeah.
How do you feel about UFC Pay?
I feel it's a iffy question because obviously it's like any other job. When you first start off, you're gonna get sucky pay.
Yeah.
The longer you stay and the better you do, then the more money you get paid. So I think it just depends on you.
I feel like right now their roster is just too big.
Yeah.
They just have too many fighters, and they can't, like, the way they pay them. When you look at it, that's how they have to. They just have to do it that way because they have so many people that if they start paying their people high dollar amounts, they have so many people and they're doing new cards every week.
Yeah.
So it's getting to where it's a lot.
I think it's like you have to earn your way to the top.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what got you into Muay Thai? Like where at in your life did you end up looking at Muay Thai and saying, I want to do that, where people get kneed in the face?
Funny story about that actually. I got into a fight in school one time. My first fight, I think it was my first fight, and I won, and I felt good, and I was like, man, I like this. So at first I wanted to do boxing first.
Yeah.
So I grew up watching boxing with my family, so I was like, man, I want to do boxing. And then I watched Diego Sanchez versus Clay Guida.
Yeah, we were just talking about that one in our last episode. It's a good one.
And then I wanted to do MMA. So before Muay Thai, I was like, man, I want to do MMA. I didn't really know much what it was, so I kind of looked it up. I YouTubed it, and then it was like, oh, you put your different martial arts together, and then I typed Muay Thai, and I was like, man, I'm never doing Muay Thai, like, because Muay Thai just like it looked a lot more brutal than just MMA. Like Muay Thai looked like when you look at the videos, like the stadium fights, people get carried out.
Dude, yeah, they get rough.
Like
those are the ones that are fun to watch. That.
Yeah, but I was like, man, I'm not doing Muay Thai. Like, I'm not gonna do that. So I asked my mom, I was like, can you help me find a gym? She was like, yeah, we'll find one. And I googled Muay Thai, and there happened to be a gym like literally 5 minutes 5 minutes from my house. But it wasn't MMA. She told me it was MMA, but it wasn't MMA. So when I got there, it turned out to be Muay Thai,
Yeah.
and I started there. I think the first like the 3 months, they're like, "Do you want to fight?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." Did a tournament. I fought like 3 times in one day, and I won. I was like, oh, "Okay, I like this."
Yeah.
Then I stuck with it ever since.
Yeah. What gym was it? The first one.
The first one was called Izzy Camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where
I
was
think I
it
know
at?
where that's at. Right off 225.
No, that was right here off on Fairmont, in front of
Okay.
that middle school.
Yeah.
They have a little shopping center right across the street.
Okay.
So, I started there first, before meeting Irish or Cordy.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Whenever
So
you go ahead.
how did you meeting Corley come about?
So I guess whenever, because at the time I think Cordy had been living in Thailand,
Yeah.
and then he came back and he was trying to. He started his first promotion with Muay Thai Kingdom, and my coach at the time, he was like, "Hey, do you want to fight on this show?" I think I was like 7 months training, and I was like, "Yeah," I'll do it. And I met Corley, I met Bob Perez, and at first I was scared of Corley because
Yeah.
you met him, right? He has
Well, I've met him. We've met him like now,
yeah.
not before. So now when we see him, he's chilling, glasses, sitting behind a desk.
Yeah.
Very nice, very quiet.
But
Chilling.
but he always has like that serious face.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I first met him, he had like that serious face, and it's like, damn, this dude looks like an asshole. And so I did like 2 or 3 fights for him, and then they opened up Houston Muay Thai, the one in downtown, and at the gym I was at, it got to a point where I kind of started getting a little better than everybody. And I had a talk with, I think, Bob, and he was like, "Hey, you can't be the biggest fish in the pond forever." So I was like, "Okay." So from there, I asked my coach if I could cross train. He was cool with it, and so then I went to Houston Muay Thai, and I was getting my ass kicked by like Jacob Rodriguez at the time. He's big.
That dude's massive.
It's huge.
Yeah, and he was a lot bigger back then than he is now.
Really?
Because I think he had just started maybe a couple months before I did or so.
Okay.
So he was there. There was Justin Reisberg. He was fighting for Legacy at the time.
Legacy, I miss Legacy.
Yeah. Then you had like all these people coming in, like Johnny Bedford.
That's cool.
Just pretty much everybody from Houston was coming to do the striking over here at the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, like this is where I need to be, like full time.
For sure. That's when there were like several owners with Houston Muay Thai, right?
Yeah. No. So
No?
this is before that. So
okay.
So this is when it was just Bob and Corley. They're renting a little space on the bottom floor of Main Street. So Main Street has 2 floors.
Yeah.
And they were renting out. It was like a small little area in the back. And so I was cross training, and then I was like, this is where I need to be. I told my coach, hey, like, I don't want no offense or whatever, but I think this is where I need to go. And I remember coming in and trying to pay Corley money to sign up, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I'm trying to sign up. He's like, "Man, get that shit away from me. Just clean the gym and you can train."
That's cool, man.
Yeah. And
That's really cool.
so I got to do that. I would just train, clean, and then go to work.
Where'd you work?
I used to teach the Muay Thai at the Gracie Baja West Chase.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
They is that where Becca goes now?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought. That's cool.
Yeah. The Opiano's always been cool with like people from Houston Muay Thai.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I feel like needs to be more gyms that work together with each other like that.
Yeah.
And with so going like you were saying with Houston Muay Thai, they were the two owners. How did it come about that they like? What was it like being there when everything started changing?
What? Well, it was. I can't say how it was too much. It was cool at first, and then there was a lot of rules started getting added on, and then I got kicked out the gym for like a year.
What'd you do?
I was partying, drinking too much, so I got kicked out the gym for like a year. So then, whenever I came back, that's whenever Corley kind of just decided to do his own thing and open up Heritage. So then, that's whenever we went to Heritage and I got it back into the gym.
Yeah. I like Heritage, man. I feel like Heritage, just the way it's set up, and I mean, I know that eventually he's gonna kind of upgrade it, but I just, it's a nice, like, I don't want to say old school kind of feel, but it just, like, at the core of training, that's what it should be like.
Yeah,
I think like that's
it's nothing too fancy.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot. It's hot and it's just a lot of hard work.
Yeah. We always enjoy going. We need to go more. Obviously, we need to go a lot more.
For sure. Yeah.
But they're starting to partner up with Elite MMA.
Yeah.
Are you going to be working with them at all while you're doing MMA? So I know you're going to Metro and working with them.
Yeah. No, I think I'll probably do my jiu-jitsu there every now and then, but for the most part, I'm gonna stick with Metro.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You're working with Rico Rodriguez right there, right?
I don't know if he lives in Houston. I know he comes to the gym every now and then.
Okay.
But as far as like him being there every day,
Yeah.
he'll come in for like, I guess when they do like belt promotions and stuff.
Yeah, the ceremonies and stuff.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know if he lives in Houston or.
Okay. Yeah, I don't blame you for wanting to stick with Metro though. I mean, the talent's there. Saul Solis just passed away, so I imagine it's gonna be difficult. They had his ceremony, one of the ceremonies today, and then they're doing the celebration of life and everything tomorrow.
Yeah, so tomorrow's the funeral and then the celebration.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, it was
That's a huge. Like we were saying, whenever the first episode we came out with after that happened, we were saying that's such a big loss, not just for MMA, or not just for Houston MMA, but just MMA in general.
Yeah.
Because you think of as far back with people like Yves Edwards, Tito Ortiz, Rico,
Chris Cyborg.
Yeah, like he's been working with them, and they're pioneers of the sport of what it was like in the early 2000s, and that's really when it started getting famous.
Yeah.
So it's partially attributed to people like him.
Yeah, and whenever Corley decided for me to do MMA, I was like, where do you want me to go? He's like, he told me, he's like, only person I want you to learn MMA from is Saul Solis.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Like I said, Corley knows his business.
Yeah, he's like, I was asking him how come. He's like, you'll see. And I didn't get to know him for too long.
Yeah.
Because I had just started, but I got to know him for like, I want to say maybe a year and a couple months. But he was a really cool dude. He told you how it was.
Yeah.
He'd get on your ass, and
that's one of the things I've seen the most of, is everybody saying like it was always great when you needed critiques. Like, you don't have to worry about it. He's gonna give it to you before you even ask, and it's gonna be exactly what you needed to hear.
Yeah, and if you felt tired, he'd push you to like a limit you didn't even know you had. You just
Again, just like with Heritage, it's that like classic coach. Like you need that coach as an athlete. You have to have that coach who's going to push you, who's going to give it to you straight. They're going to tell you exactly what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, what you need to hear, so that you can be better. Do you think it's going to be different there? I can't imagine it's not.
I think yes, yeah, it is gonna be different because it's not gonna be the same
Yeah.
because Saul's not there, but I mean he has like Adrian Yanez, which he's been with him under Saul for,
Yeah.
so they understand Saul's way of teaching,
Yeah.
so they pass it on to us, and then they have, like I said, they have a lot of monsters. Like,
Yeah,
there's a
that's what I
lot.
was saying. I don't blame you for wanting to stay there. We keep saying it. That's such a big gym right now.
Yeah, like,
Everybody they're coming out with, Adrian, Leo Mana, Jacob Silva. I mean, I know he lost his last fight, but the kind of fighters you see coming out of that gym, they're all like very, very aggressive. They're very aggressive, and they're striking almost across the board is always very dominant.
Yeah.
Cameron Smotherman.
And the ground game is, I think their ground game is underestimated too.
Yeah.
Look at somebody like Colton England as well. He trains right there, and he has amazing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Man, and you have like the names you named, and there's Justice.
He just won his last fight. He looked real good.
Yeah. Eduardo Leiva, another. He's young pro. There's just a lot.
Yeah. And it's like it just keeps going. So now they have like David Wynn, they have you, and that y'all are do y'all feel like y'all are like the young bucks there? Well,
Oh, for sure.
Young in the sense of your career.
Yeah, for sure. It's like when I went to Houston Muay Thai the first time and I got my ass kicked.
Yeah.
Same.
That's actually how Jacob introduced us to David, and he was like, "Yeah, this is David. You know, he's making his amateur debut soon, and you know, we beat him up every day in the gym.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." So that's cool though. It's cool knowing that it's Saul's teachings are gonna stay there. They're gonna get brought
It's
passed
passed on.
down. Yeah. Again, it's such a big loss. So it's like I said, it's cool to know that it's still going to be there.
Yeah, have to.
And so, so you also coach, like you do privates outside of your training for your fighting, right?
Yeah.
And so, well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, usually just on the weekend. I still have a regular job, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where you work at?
So we work for Harris County. We do like their security, the cameras, their access control and programming.
Okay. If you could do training and then having teaching classes, would you want that to be your job if you could?
Yeah, I would.
All right. What kind of rates are you running? Let the people know.
You just gotta shoot me a message, but I'm working on something to where I go back to teaching full time,
Okay.
or not full time, but teaching as my job, and then I have all day to train and really focus on my craft. So
Yeah.
I got.
And
something.
go ahead.
I got a little secret in store.
Okay. We can't know.
Not yet. Not till it's official, but.
And so, when it comes to coaching versus, whenever you're training and learning, has it taught you more about yourself as a fighter with Muay Thai and with MMA as well?
Yeah. It's like when you teach, you kind of. It's like you're teaching somebody, but you're redoing it like in your mind again, and you're like, oh, okay. Sometimes you forget a certain technique, and when you're teaching, you're like, oh wait,
Yeah.
I remember this. So it helps you grow as a martial artist, and also it helps you pass along some knowledge.
I think one of the things I have the biggest issues whenever I'm trying to teach somebody or coach somebody or just help them is like finding the right phrasing that's going to get through to them. I feel like that's always the biggest issue I have. So like when I see them have some bad form or something that's like your stance or your form or whatever, however you throw things according to your style and your body, that's fine. But this particular thing you can't do. Like when people flare their elbows out before they punch, I'm like, no, you can't do that. but like I just said, it flare your elbows out. Like I was helping my wife. We were working with her throwing punches, and she would kind of bring her elbow out, and I'm like, nah, when you punch, you're like bringing your arm out too far. And she kept doing it, and I was like, I don't know how to word
How to
this
explain it?
to
Yeah.
tell you that your elbow's going out too far. And she was like, my elbow. And I was like, oh, yeah. Because I'm sitting there in my head, I'm explaining it to myself, but only half of that is coming out. So I think
It's
that's
just,
an issue I have a lot.
it's just, it's just like everything, like repetition as far as teaching wise too.
Yeah.
Just you start to learn like certain words you can use. But it just comes with experience. I'm still, I like teaching on the side, but I used to hate teaching when I was younger.
Good.
Because I was like, I want to focus on myself. I want to,
You're a fighter first.
yeah. But now that I'm a little older, I'm like, okay, I think, I know my stuff. So I think it's like Corey always says, pass it on.
Yeah. So let's say you have great success in the Muay Thai world, and you end up in the UFC and the MMA world. Do you end up coaching once you're done as an athlete?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Gonna open up a Heritage Muay Thai Pasadena.
Yeah? I'd be cool with that. That would be awesome. That's something when we have Carlos Nava on, that's something that we talk about pretty often. He wants to open up a gym in Pasadena. He wants to help troubled youth find their way in life with boxing. So you do the same thing with Muay Thai?
Yeah, especially with the Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Instead of like the mixed martial arts, it'd be like more with the Muay Thai, just because that's my background, obviously, and now it's Olympic sport now. It's an Olympic
And
sport
that's
now.
partially because of Corley.
Yeah, big.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
So I wanna help back in the sport with I wanna give back to the sport too and help it grow, especially in areas where there really isn't Muay Thai.
Where all have you fought in Muay Thai, like overseas?
Overseas, nowhere.
Nowhere?
No.
Okay. Do you want to?
I want to, but I have cause I wasn't born here. I was born in Mexico, but I have a work visa, but I'm not allowed to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, say you can. Would you want to have fights in Thailand?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you feel like that's the goal with Muay Thai? Is just one day you got to go to Thailand and have a fight?
For sure. There's a friend of mine. His name is Matt Lucas. He lives out there in Thailand, and he does like journalism for like the stadium fights and all that.
Okay.
And hey, when are you gonna come to Thailand? When you gonna come to Thailand? Like soon, soon.
While we're talking about that, stadium fights, you want to explain to the listeners what stadium fights are?
So it's like how can I explain it? It's hard to explain these.
Yeah, the difference between a stadium fight and like I want to say sanctioned.
It's like if you fight in the main stadiums, which is like Rajadhan and Lumpini, that means you're the best, like the best. It's like fighting in Madison Square Garden and the MGM,
as opposed to
like fighting in Texas City.
yeah. Yeah, I know, like, whenever you go on YouTube and you look up Muay Thai fights, some of those places, man, they just, that's exactly, like, Texas City, Pasadena. Imagine if Pasadena had fights in, like, Veteran Stadium, Memorial Stadium, whatever they call it now. It would just be weird.
Yeah, like if you fight there, that's how you know you're. Then if you win the belt there, that's a whole nother world.
Do you like John Wayne Parr?
Yeah, not right now.
Yeah.
But when he was younger, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it was always cool seeing American dude Thailand doing well in Thailand, but not like beating them at their own thing. It was like he was part of them. He was part of getting to be. He was respected with them. He had a good time with them. It was really cool to see that. Cause I feel like you don't get to see that a lot.
It's like my favorite was Ramon Deckers.
I don't know the name.
No?
I don't know. No.
Oh man.
Who's Ramon Deckers? Tell us.
That's like my dude. So he's Dutch.
Okay.
So there's Muay Thai, and then there's Dutch kickboxing.
Yeah.
So Ramon Deckers was a Dutch kickboxer, but he went to Thailand and he fought all the Thais at the stadium level, and just knocked them all out.
Okay.
With Muay Thai.
A bad dude.
Muay Thai rules, and so it got to a point where he was just beating all the top Thais that they were trying to get him knocked out. So they were sending other more top Thais to try to fight him and beat him, but
get rid of the foreigner.
Yeah, because he was just knocking them dudes out.
Yeah.
I think he was like one of the only people to get recognized by the king of Thailand.
That's cool.
Yeah, but he passed away a couple years ago.
Okay.
But he's like a OG of the Dutch kickboxing.
Yeah. With Dutch kickboxing, what do you think about people like Alistair Overeem?
When he was younger, he was.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's. I think he's gonna lose for sure.
Yeah.
You see who he's fighting?
Yeah, he's fighting Rico Verhoeven.
Yeah. Maybe. You think he's gonna lose it?
Yeah,
I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm like, why are you doing this, man?
Yeah.
Like, this is young Overeem. You're a completely different person now. You're a completely different body. You're a different mentality. Like I don't know.
And then you're fighting the king.
Yeah.
So, I feel like a more competitive fight would be him versus Badahari.
Badahari, I don't want to say big dude because they're all kind of big, but
he's like another OG. He fought like in K1 back in the day.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Man, I feel like kickboxing / Muay Thai, I guess, Muay Thai kickboxing. There just needs to be more attention there. Like we were saying earlier, there needs to be more Muay Thai in MMA, because MMA is so big right now. You got people like you bringing Muay Thai to MMA, and it's that pure Muay Thai style.
Yeah.
And I think that's so cool to see.
Well, I think it's kind of starting to change now, because so I know I just fought and I did it here. There's a young kid from California. He's really good. He's a really good Muay Thai fighter. I forgot his last name, but his name is Johnny. He's from Boxing Works, and he just did his first MMA fight, and he won by TKO.
So the same thing, pretty much.
Same thing. Then there's a guy named Asa Tempao. He fought everybody in Muay Thai kickboxing. So now he's gonna go to MMA. And I'm pretty sure he's gonna. So there's a lot of Muay Thai fighters. Just because there's not a lot of Muay Thai fights right now.
Yeah.
That are just doing MMA to stay active, but there's a lot of them.
Would you ever do the Muay Thai that they have in 1FC?
Oh, with the MMA gloves?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Do you think you would prefer that with the 14-ounce but the boxing gloves?
Nah, I like the big gloves just because you could take more. You could take more. You don't have to change your guard too much.
Yeah.
4-ounce gloves, that's a whole different
It's hard.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I watch Taiwan Chai, we watch dudes like him, it's so crazy seeing how fast they strike and how hard they can hit, and then going and watching more traditional where they have the boxing gloves, and it's a lot more paced out sometimes, and I know a lot of people could find that boring, heavy air quotes, but we talked about this with Jeremy one time when we were training with him. He was like, yeah, a lot of those fights, the first couple rounds, they're slow, but then once you get to the later rounds, that's when it gets crazy.
Well, the round 1 and 2, they're called throwaway rounds
Yeah, that's what he was talking about.
because they're just there for like the bettors to start getting their bets in. So
Yeah.
so they don't really care about those 2 rounds. They care about round 3, 4, and 5. That's all nonstop action.
Yeah.
Especially like the Muay Thai rule or the Muay Thai scoring. They want you to go forward. Like if you start stalling, the ref will stop you and tell you, "Hey,
Yeah.
fight." Uh, it's it's kind of frowned upon to go backwards in Muay Thai.
Yeah.
So that comes into scoring. So that's why a lot of times they're just there fighting.
So would you say within not, like you were saying, moving backwards is kind of frowned upon? Counter strikers who like to move backwards, would you say that's just not something you see in Muay Thai?
There is
Yeah.
there is. You have people like Sanchai. Sanchai. There's a guy named Lerzilla. They're kind of like the Mayweather of Muay Thai. Like they can move backwards, but they the way they do it is it's real effective. Like they'll knock
Okay.
you out.
So with boxing, you say like watching boxing. Who got a favorite boxer that you look at?
Right now, probably Canelo.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one I was looking for. Canelo. How do you think this fight's gonna go with Caleb Plant?
I think he beats him.
I do too. I've seen some people say like, win or lose, Canelo's probably gonna start going downhill, and I'm like, why?
Nah, he's
I
barely.
don't understand that at all.
He's barely in his prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I watched. I went back and I watched Caleb Plant's fight versus Uskatagi, which
Yeah.
is. He looked good for the first couple rounds, and then he started getting caught.
Yeah.
So and on top of that, he's not as active as Canelo is. Canelo's fought like 3 times already this year.
Yeah. Canelo, and he just keeps winning. It's freaking nuts watching Canelo do the things he's doing. 'Cause I feel like of recent history, the greats in boxing don't do it like he does. He does it like we grew up watching boxing. We saw Tyson fight all the time,
Yeah.
and it was always aggressive. We saw Ali, what Ali did. We saw like Frazier when he'd go in there and he would just go to work. You see Canelo do that, and then when you look at like Mayweather on the other hand, he fights every now and then.
Yeah.
And when he does, it's a big show, and then the match is kind of him scoring points.
I think that's why. I think that's kind of what separates him. He's fighting like
Yeah.
he has a goal. He wants to get all the belts, and he's trying to stay active. And it makes a big difference to be active. Like as far as your body getting used to it, like the fights, the rhythm, the timing.
There's a boxer, I can't remember his name, and if everybody was wondering why Devin sounds like a robot, Devin is sick, so we have him in on the phone, so I can't look it up. But there's a Russian boxer who I think his record's like 23 or 24-0, and they're all knockouts. And well, no, they're not all. No, they're all is at like 100% knockout ratio. And a lot of people want Canelo because Canelo wants to move up, or he's moving up. So they want him to go against that guy, and I was like,
Better
I don't
beef.
know, yeah,
Better beef.
yeah, Archer,
Archer,
yeah,
yeah.
that dude. Oh my God, dude brings so much power without moving his arms anywhere.
He doesn't really even like put his hips into it. He just throws he just throws it. It's crazy watching it.
He's kind of like what Triple G was back in the day.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Mickey Ward?
Some of the fights.
I feel like a fight between Beterbiev and Canelo would be a lot like
Mickey Ward and
Yeti.
Arturo Gatti. I feel like it'd be a lot like that. I feel like Canelo can win it, but he's really gonna have to look out.
Yeah.
And that was what Mickey Ward's issue was, is he just took hits, and you can't do that.
Did you see he was on? Mickey Ward was actually on Hot Box with Mike Tyson with him and Henry Cejudo.
Really?
Yeah, he was on, and he actually has. He talks about how he has CTE.
I bet he does.
Yeah.
I bet he does. The dude took some hits.
He lost a couple years for sure.
Yeah. But I feel like that fight would go. It would look a lot like that. But I feel like Canelo, there's just a different time for the sport, so people approach it differently. But I feel like Canelo would. I feel like he could win that.
I think so, especially with his defense.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. With Mickey Ward, his defense was move, fire back. But when he was moving, he was still taking shots. But he was like, "It's all right. They're gonna tire out, and my shots are to their body, so they're gonna tire out so much faster."
Yeah.
But with Canelo, if he's moving, he's not getting hit.
Yeah.
And if he chooses not to move, he's hitting you and stopping you from throwing more hits.
Yeah.
So I want to see that fight. That's what I'm getting at. So I want to see that fight too.
Yeah. I think he called out. So there's another guy in that same division, Dimitri Bivol.
I remember seeing him call him out, but I don't know anything about him.
So he's like the other guy that's like the top dog in that division.
Yeah.
So I think he has one belt. Archer has two belts, and then I think one of them is vacant or something like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So you're going from Muay Thai, now you're doing MMA. Would you ever go to boxing?
I need to start going back.
Yeah.
When there was a while whenever we were still at Houston Muay Thai, I would just go upstairs in the morning and do the sparring with the boxers up there.
Yeah. Who'd you spar with?
Sometimes his name is Craig Callahan. That's the guy from Liverpool. Fucked me up with the jab.
Yeah.
So he used the jab. I was like, damn, this. But sometimes you don't know. It's just whoever looks around like your weight.
Your weight.
Yeah.
Well, with MMA, so you have your second fight October 2nd. Who's the opponent?
I had a different opponent, but I think now they gave me somebody named Roger Smith Jr. something like that. I don't know.
You know much about him?
I think he's 1-0 too.
Yeah.
He's 1-0.
Think you'll pretty much repeat of the first fight, your first fight?
I'm gonna try to change up some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to be a little bit have a little bit more rhythm, more balance instead of walking just straight forward.
Yeah.
Cause I went back and I saw some. I think the last guy landed one punch or something. I was like, he shouldn't have landed that.
Yeah. He was just too relaxed.
Yeah, too relaxed. But
Not that being relaxed is bad. You just want to be too relaxed.
yeah, but yeah, pretty sure I'll be the same.
So we should expect some like flying triangle.
Nah, not yet.
Gogo platas.
Not yet. You need, I still need some time to work on those, but I'll get up.
Yeah.
I'll get up from a takedown.
And so how has it been adjusting from Muay Thai to Jiu-Jitsu? Like, where did the Jiu-Jitsu start coming in around, like, a timeline?
I want to say, like the first month I started training, they're real heavy on their jiu-jitsu and their no-gi.
At Metro.
Yeah. It's a different world, man. It's a different animal. As far as the striking, I felt comfortable with the striking. I felt, but the getting taken down and then having to work your way up, and then you get up, and then okay, you want to strike, and then they take you down again, and then you get up, and then now your arms are dead.
Yeah.
And then now you're just trying to survive, and so it's just getting the body used to, getting those muscles used to that, because the first 2 months I come home, I'm like, God damn, man, I'm getting my ass kicked.
Whenever I try to talk to people about MMA and working with them, and I always tell them, like, if you want like a really good workout, jiu-jitsu drills,
Yeah.
because your body has you don't realize how quickly your limbs can get tired until you're having to hold someone in your guard or push your hips out and get out from under their guard or whatever. Like it's hip escapes can be brutal.
You start to work muscles you didn't even know you had.
Yeah. um would you say that, so like, doing a day of like drills and pad work and bag works at Heritage, or a day of like jiu-jitsu training over at Metro, which would you say is a bit more exhausting?
Oh, the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because you're just more used to doing Muay Thai, or you think
Yeah,
just
I think so.
Okay.
Because I've seen some people do like the drills, the bag work, and they get more tired off of that than they do with the jiu-jitsu. They're just more relaxed, more used to it.
I'm not saying I'm any good at it, but I feel like the going to Muay Thai, like one of the last couple of times we went, um, when we were done, like I think like our hour or whatever was up with Jeremy, and I was like, now I feel like going. Like I feel like that was what
Yeah.
I want to keep going. And Jeremy's like, oh, you're good. You just hit the bags. Um, so I feel like that's something I could do for a while. Like I said, I won't look pretty, but
But
I can keep going. With jiu-jitsu, the last time I had like a very serious drill or night of training with jiu-jitsu was at this gym in Deer Park, and it was all fine like the first half, and then my legs started getting tired from pushing people off so many times, and I couldn't lift my legs, so I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna sit on my back and I'm gonna stop people from tapping me out. Otherwise, I can't do anything. You can get whatever position you want. You're not gonna tap me out,
Yeah.
because that's all I can do right now.
Yeah, that's how I was like that yesterday.
Yeah.
Was it Monday? Monday I went for a run. I did some bag work, some jump rope. Then I sparred. My legs were a little tired, but I was good. And then yesterday we did wrestling and then nogi. Man, I started cramping up.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought I drank enough water throughout the day. My leg was cramping up. Jacob got me like in some weird, was it like a forearm? I guess a forearm slicer or something.
Yeah. With his forearm against yours.
Yeah, same time that he got me, I tapped, but I got a cramp, and I was like, I'm cramping. He's like, get the fuck out of here. I made you tap. I was like, no, you tapped me, but I'm also cramping. But it's just getting the body used to it again.
Yeah. You have some people that you like to roll with at Metro just because it's challenging and, like, like...
Nah, I hate rolling with all of them
Oh.
because they all fuck me up.
I like that. I feel like with jiu-jitsu, it's, even though it's like, it's exhausting, I feel like it's very like fun and relaxing, but still challenging.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy that. I enjoy like, it's a mind game half the time. So you're just watching what they're doing and you're trying to predict what they're doing while also advancing yourself. So I like having that fun.
It's a lot of thinking, but
Yeah.
I'd rather get punched.
Yeah.
Yeah. that whole they put me in some positions and I'm like, man, what are you doing? But it's like you said, it's just thinking ahead, but nah, I hate rolling with everybody there. They're all good.
Yeah. That's good to know though.
That's like one of the things that, like, when we first started going to see Jeremy is Zach checked one of my leg kicks, and I was like, I don't know how the fuck they just fight through that shit. That was not fun at all.
We had a guy come up to Jeremy yesterday. He's like, hey man, how long do I gotta wear shin guards for? And Jeremy was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I wanna make my shin strong, like I wanna make them hard. So he's like, do I have to wear shin guards forever? And I was just sitting down on my phone. I was just trying to see what Jeremy was saying. And I was like, just staring at Jeremy. And Jeremy was like, no, you have to wear the shin guards for class. And I don't think Jeremy understood him. He's like, no, I want to make my shin stronger. And I was like, look, man, just go hit the bag, hit pads. Like, your shins will get stronger like that.
Yeah.
But it's funny because Jeremy always says, man, I have some people ask me some random ass questions. I never really believe him, but I was like, okay, no.
Yeah. He's told us a little bit too, I think. What's so for shin conditioning, would you say that's the easiest way to do it? Just kick some bags, heavy bags?
No, that's the best way. It's just
Yeah.
bags, pads. Even when you're drilling with your partner, and like for example, like you said, he kicks you, you check it. It's still hitting your shin,
Yeah.
but it's not damaging. So it's making it stronger. I know
You know
some people,
about.
I know
Go
some
ahead.
people say like, you get something and you hit your,
Yeah.
that does nothing. That just kills your nerve, and then you don't know if it's fractured or not. Like like you can't tell if it's broken or
Yeah. So do you know about Stephen Thompson?
not. Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen his shin conditioning and what he
Uh-huh.
does? He basically does that. Like he rakes his legs down and kills all the nerves, and he just beats them with the sticks.
I wouldn't.
No.
Uh-uh.
So when you're doing proper shin conditioning, and I guess this will be kind of one of the last topics, but when you're doing proper shin conditioning, what is it doing to build up your shin? It's like building up tissue or muscle or.
It's building up like that callus on that bone. Yeah, it's like you you're you're damaging the bone, so the bone has to rebuild, but you're not killing the nerve, because if you kill the nerve, then you don't feel
Yeah.
anything, but you don't know if you're damaging the bone
Yeah.
to where like fracturing the bone. But when you're hitting, after a while you just start to realize like, oh no, this doesn't hurt no more.
So what I'm hearing is that you're smarter and safer than Stephen Thompson.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
what I hear.
For sure.
Because that was my thoughts exactly when he was talking about killing the nerves. I was like, what happens though if you chip a piece off your shin?
Yeah.
What happens if those nerves are splitting up and you need to get work done?
Yeah. Well, it's like all the best kickers are for sure like the Thai fighter, like the Thais.
Yeah.
That's what all they do. And
Yeah,
you
they kick banana trees down, man.
yeah, that's a lot safer than what Wonder Boy does.
Yeah,
I'd rather
those
kick-
banana trees, you can squish them.
Yeah.
Well, to a degree, I guess.
But they don't do all that. So
Yeah.
if they don't do it, then for sure, it's
Yeah.
for a reason.
Fair point. But yeah, so go ahead, Devin.
But that's what I heard like Daniel Cormier talk about it, because we talked about that fight with Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar earlier, and how Max didn't train for that fight. and Daniel Cormier is kind of saying that, well, I kind of disagree with it, because you have to spar a little bit. Like, he didn't spar at all leading into this fight, and you have to callus your face. You have to kind of build up that endurance for your face to get punched.
Yeah, I think that's true, because I took some time off, and when I came back, I was like, man, this hurts more than what I remembered.
For sure. But as we're closing up here, is there anything you want to let the people know?
Like I said, I'm fighting October 2nd. Come check it out if you want to see a good show, a good knockout.
See how it's done.
How some Muay Thai is done in MMA.
There you go.
Other than that, I appreciate you for having me on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate having you on. Thank you for coming. We always like having fighters on who are local, in the sense of like they come from areas that don't have access to the kind of training that you need, but you can go out and find it.
Yeah.
So we always appreciate having that kind of stuff on. So I mean, we're always welcome to come back. You want to talk up your fight? You want to just come and be excited because now you're going to be 2-0.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes, sir.
let us know.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time.